for having me here today.
Thank you. So my first question was, so is it true? So why do you say that? Why the life of an MD is so stressful?
You know what? It's a question which a lot of people talk about in the sometimes in the corridors, but so much of stress. But honestly, it's a good mix of excitement, fun, and a bit of stress. And you know what? You go to a game. A good game, and you will see the kind of stress which is there, isn't it? Even if you're watching the game, and if you're participating, of course, you have lots of stress. So whichever field you are, I think there will be as long as the mix is good, it's fine. And I can absolutely tell you, I enjoy the excitement, every day. It is stressful. There are a lot of things that you need to look at. But as I said, as long as I'm motivated to go to work every day, or work from home every day now, it's good.
Great. We wanted to ask this question specifically because as a hard thing and straightforward honest, most of us might not aspire or might not become a CEO. So we asked this question because we wanted to know what is the reality. My next question also is on the same lines. How do you perceive your presence at the corporate world or you being at the badminton court? What brings changes to be successful at what places?
So, okay. Can you say that again? I sort of missed the last part.
So how do you perceive your presence at the corporate world or you being at badminton court? What brings changes to be successful at the both places?
Okay, so I was trying to cover that later during the conversations, but I will talk about it now. So, and this is something that I keep telling my team. My whatever 26, 28, now 28, 29 years of experience. I have my 3 P's. And the first one is passion. And I say, whatever you do, whether you're in the badminton court or whether you're at work, do it with passion. And if you're not passionate about it, honestly, don't waste your time. Don't waste my time. And I tell this to my teams, saying, guys, if you're not passionate enough, if you don't feel like coming to work, you're wasting your time. You're wasting mine. Okay, find another job. It sounds funny sometimes, but you know what? I absolutely believe in it. Whether you're at work or at the badminton court, I play with a lot of passion. I play to win. The second P is patience, and I know it's a diametrically opposite word sometimes, with passion and patience. And that's why it's there, because you need a lot of patience. As you gain more experience, you will realize not everything will happen in a day, but you need to continue to show the passion, perform, and keep at it, and that will need a lot of patience. And the third P is perseverance. So you need to be at it. There will be frustrations, there will be days when it's not your day. There will be games that you lose, but that's fine. Prepare for it. Learn from it. Go for the kill in the next game. So that's my mantra, and that's what I absolutely believe in.
Thank you so much, sir. I think my next question also relates to this. Fortunately, since you told about 3 P's, it's also important that you must have followed your passion. So what do you hold? Do you feel you are successful? And if yes, what are the things you hold that responsible that make you successful?
Okay, so successful or not, I think it's about, as I said, are you motivated enough to go to work every day? And I answered you before, I am. And honestly, again, it's about this question I can talk about for the next half an hour. So it's about your career choices. And then you said, some of us will never become a CEO or never aspire to become a CEO. So it's about career choices. It's about choices that you make. So I made a choice, and again, something that I keep telling my people, saying, guys, it's your career. Okay, so you need to be in charge. Also, decide what you want to do. And if you look at my, in the HR systems, there is a, you have to say what you want to be in the next, what's your career progression, aspiration, etc., etc. If you look at my, that sheet, maybe 7-8 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, I had said I want to do a regional role. Of course, I was the, director HR. I wanted to do a regional role, and I wanted to do a business role. And then how do you want to execute it? What do you do to aspire to this? What do you do? Don't expect the company to do everything that you want. Okay, so the company will do, of course, if you show the enthusiasm, the talent, etc., etc. But what do you do? For example, learning business, to shift from HR to business, what do you do, etc. So my view is, it's about your career choices, and what do you do to support it. As I keep saying again, there is a book called Why Should Anyone Be Led by You? And I tell people, don't read the book, but think about it. Think about only the title. Why should anyone be led by you? And I can tell you, a lot of people do not have a good answer. So think about it when you in your free time.
So much, sir. I think that was really inspirational. Taking this forward, today I was hearing a small video about, where I came across Saurabh Ganguly. And it's a very 7-minute video where he was talking about leadership. How he managed a young guy like Yuvraj Singh and your favorite player like Rahul Dravid. So how does it, so in your organization, you will have many Rahul Dravids and Yuvraj Singh. How do you think as a leader in this current new world, what is the correct definition of a leader? Could you help us to understand that?
So you know what? I think the definition of a leader, I don't think it's going to change. It's, to keep it simple, it's about motivating a group of people to achieve a goal, a common goal. Yeah, I don't think that's going to change. But you give a very good example. Now, and this is something that I keep telling my HR folks, that you should be happy that there is a Yuvraj Singh and there is a Rahul Dravid. Because if everyone is same, if everyone behaves like a robot, you won't have a job. Yeah, it's because there is diversity. People feel, act, differently, and do HR people have jobs? Isn't it? So this is good, and how to, as I said, you will need to learn how to engage people, how to learn their strengths, their weaknesses, and where do they need support. You need to empathize with them, work with them, and then sort of achieve the common goal, as they say.
Great. Thank you so much, sir. I think your statement was both scary and motivating for HR people. So we are in perplexed. How do I perceive this answer? But taking this forward, we all of us have come across and heard about new normal, new normal. I want to ask you a question: is the normal today new normal or the new abnormal?
Okay, so you know what, whether you call it a new abnormal or a new normal, I think it, in some ways, we are already, we faced it before and we are facing it again. Okay, so I was talking to somebody and from BCG, and he said, there have been incidents before which have led to new normal. For example, the 9/11 incident led to a very different, security checkups are very different now. Cyber security is very different now. So we transitioned into that without even realizing that there is a new normal. The World War II happened and a lot of women came into the workforce. That was a new normal, and we didn't realize it maybe. And, similarly, things are happening now. So, you know what? I was thinking about it. We all use Amazon now, Google, Flipkart. We are buying from shoes to clothes to vegetables to furniture, everything online. Yeah. Some years back, we were only booking maybe train tickets or bus tickets. Yeah. Now it's so the transition is happening whether we see it or not. Now we see it more. So I just want to talk about a few things here, maybe two things here. One, you know a phone navigation, we all use it, isn't it? When we type, we get this word correction, automatic word correction, or there is a language translation which happens, isn't it? And we all take it for granted, that these are things which are there, but these are fundamental shifts which are happening in our lives. So what what COVID has done is just maybe accelerated, and people who were not doing it are now sort of getting a taste of it. So as I keep reading books, I find time to read books, and I'll talk about a gentleman called John Chambers. He's the chairman of Cisco. He's written a book called Connecting the Dots, and one of the things he talks about there is about uh, why companies fail. And he's saying that companies do not fail because they do wrong things. Companies fail because they keep doing the right things for too long. A very good example is a Kodak or a Nokia. A Nokia in 2000 was selling half the smartphones in the world. In 2013, it was sold off because there were engineers within Nokia who came out with something which is, and they could have been the next Apple. But you know what? They said, no. We are doing the right thing and we will continue to do it. Similar is the story with Kodak. And I think that's a good wake up call. You can say it wake up call, or you can say it whatever. So these transitions keep happening. We will need to, realize that, these changes are happening. Now, let me talk about PMLI, about, PNB MetLife. Now, in PNB MetLife, we started, so we, honestly, we are, I think we are pretty good in, digital. 80% of my business, even before COVID, was coming through digital tabs. Yeah. So, and to be honest, around 2 years back, I started asking this question to my IT team, or to my, larger team, saying, we are doing a lot of good stuff. Okay. We have a huge distribution setup. We are partners with PNB. MetLife gives us the insurance expertise. So we have everything going fine. But what are we doing to make this company future ready? And we started with the 2Ds. I like these 3Ps and 2Ds and all. So we started with the 2Ds. The first was distribution. So while we have, one of the biggest distribution networks in India, PNB is the second largest bank in India. We are present in almost, all districts in India. So earlier PNB had 7,000 branches. Now it has 11,000, approximately 11,000 branches. So, it's a big distribution network. And then we have other partners. We have Jammu and Kashmir Bank, we have Karnataka Bank, we have ESAF, we have many, many brokers, etc. We sell direct, we have agency. So, but still we said we will continue to add more and more distribution so that tomorrow, we can continue to grow as we, as we, gain more experience with different partners. Also getting new partners means challenging yourselves time and again, because each of these partners come with a different need. And a lot of them are digital partners now. So they come and say, oh, give me the API, I will connect and we'll start business. and that challenges my team, and it's fantastic learning. So that was the first D. The second D was digital. And under that D, again, there were three other Ds, but I'll just stop there saying, we've started this work some time back. We were the first ones in the insurance industry to come out with an app on the customer services side, because a lot of people do a lot of work on the sales side. We came out with a customer services app because I asked my team, I want to give customers the choice, 24/7 customer service at their fingertips. And we came out with an app called Khushi. It's an AI-based app. So you can talk to Khushi or you can write to Khushi and she will respond. And the good thing is there is AI behind it, so it keeps learning. So that's just to give you an example of, how things are moving and how, maybe, as I said, things have now got accelerated because of COVID.
I think that's a very we were patiently hearing, because this is not every company does it, but many companies are not upfront to talk about it, and we really appreciate for you to sharing key insights about the organization. Taking this also, I had this question as we'll come back and touch the follow-up question on this. But my another question is: are you a businessman or a salesman? And whatever you are, how do you think where does HR fits in? Is it a salesman or a businessman?
So I would say a mix of both. You need to be whichever role, even in HR. See, I handled HR for a long time, and I think you need to have both the hats, or maybe some more hats which you can wear at different times. As a business head, as a MD of a company, I need to wear very, very, very different hats. Sometimes the people hat, sometimes the customer hat, and then of course the sales hat and the business head hat. Because you also need to look at the finances, etc. So, but I absolutely believe that HR people should also have these different hats, and I see more and more, involvement of HR into the core discussions, as I would say, in companies, and I definitely encourage that, because one of the questions people asked me when I moved to a business role is that, moved from HR to business, unusual. And I said, that's the problem. Why is it unusual? And why are you asking me this question? Because a lot of salespeople move into, head roles, or a lot of finance people move to, these kind of roles. So why is this question not asked then? You know what? I think HR people are most eligible to do these kind of roles, because at the end of the day, this is about leadership. This is how you motivate, carry people along, and who better than an HR person to carry people along? So and you know what? It's no rocket science. Of course, there are nuances, and there is an actuarial science, and there is there is underwriting, and there is claims. So there are nuances of business that you need to understand. But that's about it's something that as I said, not rocket science.
Thank you, sir. I think while I was talking to Shifty and while we discussed, this very important thing, while I circulated, some people came back and browsed your LinkedIn profile after I floated, and most of us might always knew Dr. Sandeep Mishra, who became CEO from HR of Carbon Plan. But now people will they will start talking in terms. They will, this is very motivational for us, because one thing, the leading question which I want to ask, we generally HR focus on 3 P's: people, performance, and productivity. And purpose. That's what we say, 4 P's. What do you think, in terms, since you have moved to this ladder, and that's very inspirational for all of the HR leaders who are on the call and viewing this. What have we not done correct, or what we need to do? What do you advise to the HR leaders? Since you have, and the next question will be what your expectation is maybe the CHRO of PNB MedLife will be having a tough time. I have my sympathy to him. But so what do you think the new age HR leader should do to move to this ladder, and what is your expectation from a CHR?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let me first answer the CHRO. I think he's having a good time. The fact is, that's the only department I say I will not look at too deeply, because because then I want to get into it too much. So he and I think I have a very capable leader. He does a good job, and I don't need to get too much involved. So that's about my HR leader, but he's a very seasoned senior leader. My expectations from HR, honestly, I don't think I'm I'm an expert. I'm a practitioner, and my theory has always been that HR can influence the two C's. As you can see, I love these. One is culture, and second is capability. And these are the two main things that they need to do. And when you talk about culture, it's about policies, it's about practices, it's about how things happen in this company. It's about engagement, it's about motivation. And when you talk about capability, it's about learning and development. It's about talent management. It's about performance management. It's about reskilling in these circumstances. Because what's happening is a lot of jobs are getting digitized. So you need to reskill people, or you need to get new people from the market who have a different skill set, etc. So my view, very simple. HR people need to influence the two C's: culture and capability. Now, and as I said, very, very broad topics, and you can go really deep. I can have a day's session on only these two C's, believe me, because I'm so passionate about it. Therefore, I think HR plays a crucial role. I definitely think it's, a CEO needs to work the closest, with HR people, because, it's through people you will deliver.
Thank you so much, sir. That was the passion came through us, and it never felt, we are talking digital. I felt as an HR professional, I felt very motivated to hear from you. Luckily, my father did not understand us. He says HR is HR. So that's how he takes that. But we HR people follow 3 C's. As they connect, communication, and conduct. We all want to know very, since PNB deploys such a huge workforce and so many livelihoods is being taken care of the organization. Very important is C is communication. A miscommunication can cause a dent in a relationship. A miscommunication can falter the real essence of a message which wants to pass down. How PNB, this in COVID, has maintained, I have heard about very good, while I was doing my research, people came back that very strong communication platform has been managed both by corporate communication as well as the people communication. Could you throw some light about it? How do you have connected with the last mile of that company?
So you're right, Ashish. It's a difficult one, particularly in this environment. So we have around 11,000 people spread across India. And some of them are really they do not have big teams, and anyways now, a lot of people are working from home. So it is tough times. Now we when we went into this lockdown, fortunately we were prepared a bit, because, we are part of MetLife. MetLife, experienced this in China before. So we had some learnings, so we started a bit early, in terms of our BCP preparations, etc. And we said there are 4 things we will look at. One, the topmost, employee safety and engagement. Second, customer services, because, whatever, lockdown, we need to take care of our customers. Third is regulators, and other authorities. And fourth, the stakeholders, and the outside society. So, we did try to do whatever CSR activities we could during this COVID situation. Coming back to the first one, which is employee safety and engagement, I think, absolutely, crucial in these times that we take care of. And we started with saying, we'll take care of the mental health, physical health, and fiscal health. So, all the three. And, whatever we need to do, for example, we've been running sessions, given that, a lot of people are under depression, they feel, very, sort of chained, locked up, so we started sessions, so that people can, talk, can engage, some fun sessions, but also some sessions where they can engage, really, seriously, talk about mental, issues, depression, if any, etc., etc. So that's some serious part, but also some fun. On the physical part, we did some yoga sessions, communications, regular communications on how can they remain fit, during lockdown, etc., etc. And then fiscal, how they, can take care of their, sort of financials, also, we went through. Also, just to let you know, we are one of the companies which we've gone ahead and given, sort of increments and bonuses, despite, whatever's going on. So, it's about believing in our employees. And I think we've been, we definitely think, if we take care of our employees, they take care of the customers and the business.
Thank you so much, sir. This entire, whatever you said in last couple of minutes, will have a very mixed reaction. Some of us who are on the call, I was discussing this with Shilpi offline while we were doing that. When this point comes that insurance company has been rewarding, insurance sector will become one of the most good sector as a model employer, because it can survive all the pandemic and all kinds of recession. One important point is what you narrated, also mentioned the work-life balance, passion, commitment, which you always focus. All these things, when we expect this in employees in an organization, is also the structure and the culture, which you also mentioned. How do you see PNB unfolding in coming years in terms of culture and performance? And also, what are we doing? What the modern employers or HR people should do to create a modern employer image? Because when we talk about benchmarking, we talk about best practices of, like, given an example, Netflix does not have a leave policy. In Google, you are not required to come home until next year. So there are, in this, a lot of organizations have taken such steps which are beyond. So what do you think, PNB as a modern employer approach? And most importantly, what has to be done by leaders to create that cultural and, the transformational effect, rather than moving from a transactional role?
Okay, so that's a very it's a very deep question. So honestly, I think okay. Let me start by saying, I think a model employer, it depends on many parameters. Also, it also depends on individuals. Now you can be happy in one company, you can be very unhappy in another, whereas somebody else is very happy in that company and you are not. So it also depends upon how your experiences have been in that company, and because each company, so as they say, there is the perfect man is never there. It's like a perfect company it may not be there, because what best practices, when we say best practices, you cannot have a company with all the best practices, because it's the reality. Okay, and let's let's understand that's how things are. And when I talk about this subject to the team, to the larger team, I always look at what we are doing now, how are we engaging, what is the work environment, and look at the intent. I tell them that I can tell you, we may not be the best, but we absolutely will tell you that we intend to be the best, and we are doing everything that we can keep talking to us. So keep engaging with us, and we, so see whether the intention is there. And I absolutely believe that if people see the right intentions, as I said, sometimes the second P, the patience, will have to be there. Things will not change in one, in a day, in a month, maybe in a year sometimes. But if the intent is right, if the work environment is right, it should work. So at PNB MetLife, I think, that's what our intent is. I think we, our employee voice survey scores are one of the highest in MetLife. We score, upwards of 85%. So we have very, very good scores, but that doesn't make us complacent. We will continue to show the right intent. And the example I gave is only part of the showing the intent that we have.
Hey, thank you so much, sir. I think that's very important, because while as HR leaders, we also need to understand that this is one of the key expectations of a CEO, especially somebody who has been into the shoes of HR. So I had a question on performance, but I will skip that question purposefully, because while talking to you last half an hour, people who work along with you will never have performance issues, and either you will have, because you will motivate them to perform better, or we could insert the passion into it. But I'll move on to the recruitment. What does Mr. Ashish Kumar Srivastava see in many interviews? I know I am getting some people, aspirants, job aspirants, but what does he see in a person in interviews, maybe for the pivotal positions? You're muted, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So that's a good question. The fact is, I don't do too many interviews now. Thankfully,
Okay.
Thankfully, I have a stable team, where I have to interview. Most of the interviews are taken by the HR team or by the functional teams, etc., etc. But I can tell you the question I asked earlier. That's a question I will definitely ask. Why should anyone be led by you? And as I said, not many people have a good answer. And honestly, sometimes it's about as I said, the intent. I just want to understand, how is this person taking care of his or her career. Is he or her in charge, or thinking about it, or is dependent on the company that I worked very hard, but the company doesn't do anything for me. So it's a fine line. Sometimes, as I said, the interviews are are there just to understand people a bit more. And for me, maybe there are a few questions I would ask. I still remember my HR training, so maybe I'll utilize that a bit. But as I said, I don't interview too many people, but I have a few things that I want to look at. And I always keep saying we should hire for attitude. Technical skills, fine, or some of the other skills you can have. We need the right attitude. If the attitude is right, we can handle some of the others.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I think that's inspirational for all of us as HR leaders also, because most of them at younger generation, when they get into this recruitment field, recruitment is a responsibility. It is not a chair which you can, going to enjoy. Also reminds me of HR role, and not remembering that you went to HR. I'm asking from only to a CEO perspective, that we were making rangolis, we were playing picnics, we were singing. So now we were doing all sorts of things which made us HR in the previous years. Now we have moved from transactional to a transformational role. Do you think, wearing the cap of a CEO, not in your organization, but in the community, have we as HR leaders been able to set that image and really move into an HR VP role? If not, then what we need to do is start doing now. A one tip or a one advice which you should give all of us.
Okay, so you know what? Let me first start. Let me take this opportunity to give you some examples of how the world is changing. And I know everyone is experiencing this, but let me just remind it again. I spoke about machine learning. I spoke about AI and stuff. So, there is a how these are changing, the perspective and lives. So maybe I'll give you two examples. So there is a Chinese game called Go. It's like a chess, maybe a little more complex. It's called Go. Google went ahead and sort of looked at 130,000 games, okay, and some millions of moves in that game, and fed it into a computer and called it an AlphaGo. Okay, believe me or not, it's just that 130,000 games, millions of moves, just fed into a computer. Today, this AlphaGo defeats all the champions. One example. Second example, there is a hospital in New York, in Mount Sinai Hospital. What they did was they created an AI platform, fed in 700,000 patient records into that machine. Today, that machine predicts, what diseases you can have as a patient, looking at your record. Now, doctors are baffled. How can a machine do that? Because it has no prior training, nothing. It knows nothing about diseases. It doesn't understand what is a toothache, etc., or what is cancer. But just because these 700,000 records have been fed into this AI-based platform, it is now able to diagnose and predict, some. That is the changing world. Okay, so even doctors are feeling that they may not have as many jobs going forward. Okay, so now look at these kind of examples, and I just gave one from the games and one from the other side, just to give you an example of what is the kind of transformation which is happening, and what is the role of HR, how the role of HR is going to be more and more important, because the transition is going to be, sometimes it's going to be very disruptive. You will not even know, and you get disrupted. As I said before, sometimes you continue to do good things, and then realize that somebody has come and disrupted your business. Absolutely. So there is a transformation role that the HR people will have, going forward. So that's something that they need to prepare for, and they need to also understand what's happening outside. How are things changing?
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's very important. हिंदी में अगर चाहिए तो 100 सुनाती और एक दोहा, whatever I would, so that's how taking this. We all realize in terms how important is the role of communication. You talk about passion, you talk about empathy. So most of the image is there, and while talking to you, I have no doubt. But still, for the larger audience, I will ask this question. Most of the people think that CEOs are finance oriented, and they talk only numbers and finance, and that's how. But do you think, is it really true? And if not, then why this image of CEOs is there, that they have less of empathy, and this they only monetary aspect.
So funnily, a lot of people tell me that, boss, you've changed, and that's fine, because fortunately, unfortunately, you will have to wear that hat. I spoke about different hats. You will have to wear that hat at times, because at the end of the day, you are running a business. I run a 5,000 crore turnover business.
Right.
So it's big business, number of people involved. I think about it. I am influencing the lives of around 11,000 people directly, and then a lot of others indirectly, isn't it? So you will have to look at the financial angle carefully. You have to survive, you have to compete, you have to be efficient, you have to, digitize, disrupt, all of that. So you will keep wearing different hats. And sometimes people will say that, this is very number focused. A lot of people tell me that you become very sales focused. At the end of the day, I mean, that's where, that's where the monies come in. That's where the customers are. So you need to have, different focus at different points in time.
Thank you, sir. I think that's very good, important for clarification for all of us. Before I move and hand over the baton to Mr. Saurabh Jain, who will ask a few industry related, because he's an expert from insurance industry. My one question is that, और ये मैं हिंदी में पूछूंगा आपको, if that's permissible. और ये कोई ने लिखा है चैट बॉक्स में, टेकिंग ऑडियंस क्वेश्चंस आल्सो चैनल से, कि जब आप सीईओ बने एचआर से, तो कभी आपके इस समय के दौरान जब आप सीईओ बने, किसी एचआर ने आपको वास्ता दिया कि सर आप भी एचआर थे, ऐसा मत करिए?
All the time.
Any incident where HR has come back and has given you कि सर आप भी HR थे, ऐसा मत करिए?
So
anything with you?
It happens all the time. So whenever, particularly, I go for the HR review meetings. So I do review meetings with most of the functions, also with HR, and they, when I ask difficult questions, they remind me. So or yeah. So honestly, I would not want to quote a particular incident, but all the time, I can tell you. And others, when I go to other functions, and say, we have to take this, disciplinary action or very strong action, performance, this and that. And they said, again, I'm reminded, कि, sir, आप थोड़ा वो HR वाली hat लगा के थोड़ी ज़्यादा empathy दिखाइए. But, at the end of the day, it's about, as I said, it's about business. But I am absolutely aware it's about people, business first. So people first, for me, for sure.
And thank you so much, sir. I think, that before I just move on for the next section of Saurabh ji, it also reminds me Vineet Naya's book, EFCS, Employee First and Customer Second. And that's a very important, lesson which I am also relearning. I'll request Mr. Saurabh Jain to, take his point and ask some industry technical related questions.
Many thanks, Ashish, for for that useful insights. Every time we attend sessions of different experts, it really gives us all together a complete different perspective of how leadership aspect is all about, and how it can be perceived from a different angle. So it's really great, insightful, great learning for last 45 minutes, sir. So I would simply move to some basically macro aspect, like, what do you feel like because of this COVID? Some experts are saying that, yes, GDP is going down. Somebody is saying that it might be negative. So what's your take? What's your understanding of, overall macro? What do you see that, how long will it take to stabilize and, to come back to the normal?
So Saurabh, I think that's a question, we should ask the finance minister. But honestly, very, 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 very broad. But I consider myself no expert on this. However, I can tell you, I am as optimistic as the share market, and the share market is very optimistic right now. So so I am, and honestly, the LI industry or the insurance industry overall is faring well, and there is increased awareness. People want insurance as part of their financial bouquet. So I see, honestly, I think it's we should look at how we engage with customers more and more now. How do we digitize ourselves? I just tell you, MetLife did a survey in around 6 markets around the world. And they came up with 3 things very quickly. One, the survey said people are wanting more insurance. They want it to be part of their financial bouquet. Even in India, it's definitely become important part. Second, around 79% of the people surveyed said they want more insurance given the COVID situation. And third, They said they want to deal with companies who have a seamless digital experience or journeys. So, I think we need to keep focusing on that, keep engaging, and there is opportunity. I see this as an opportunity.
Sure. So my next question was towards the industry specific also. Like every crisis brings an opportunity, and same is there now for the insurance industry. So after this COVID, a lot of awareness has gone in among the people. So do you feel that yes, this is a game changing event typically which has happened for the insurance as a sector, and the entire perception of the people in terms of looking towards insurance has completely been changed?
So sort of, I'll just give you an example, and I think, that example will help. So April, it was a complete lockdown. Yeah, complete lockdown. All of us were at home, locked up at home. 1.3 billion people locked up at home. Now, PNB MetLife, normally, we sell around 26,000 policies in a month. I'm just giving an average, rough average, 26,000 policies a month. In April, despite the complete lockdown, we sold 24,000 policies.
Wow.
So 24,000 policies got logged in because people are looking for insurance. A lot of this insurance was protection, as we call the term insurance.
Yes.
So there is, this is a good example of, people wanting to buy. This is not about, the old, thinking of insurance is only face to face is changing and changing very, very fast.
Yes. Perfect. That's the answer I was actually looking for, and that has actually changed the entire perception of the people how they look insurance as. So again, coming back to the next question is like insurance typically is a very simple product. Just like when we do financial planning, we say that in terms of contingency planning, okay, some contingency fund is there, term should be there, and when it comes to your retirement, maybe some sort of income should come up. You can just lock in the interest rate for next 20-25 years, and that's a beautiful product. You can do that. But still, why people are slightly afraid of maybe in terms of buying a policy, or there are so many bouquets or maybe so many products, they're just confused. And it is always said that selling insurance is the most difficult task. But although it is something a very necessary product, which like a common man, ठीक है, term लिया and you buy a retirement solution product, it's like something a perfect combination, and you can have SIPs and all in between to make your entire bouquet full of different products. So like why is this perception that insurance is something very difficult to sell, and how would you like to break that notion out here, especially to all the youngsters who also like when it comes to any B school, when any insurance companies come, they don't want to sit for the interview. They have that notion, no, we don't want to go into selling insurance. So what is so I just want you to address the entire audience and just make it very, very simplified.
So you're right, Saurabh. I think it's not as complicated as it seems. To be honest, you look at a bank FD. It looks so simple at the front end. At the back end, it's a very, very complex product. So insurance should also be like that. At the front end, it should be simple. You can buy it, and it's becoming so now. As I said, these COVID times, it has helped us, look at it very differently. It's also forced customers in some sense to look at it differently. The other thing is the awareness is increasing. I can tell you all the schemes that the government is running. For example, the PMJJBY, the Prime Minister Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, or the Ayushman Bharat Yojana. All these are, setting or increasing the awareness of people across the country. And that's helping us because, I tell my team, we have only two competitors, LIC and SBI Life. Because for us, there is nobody else with such kind of reach that we have, PNB MetLife has, given the distribution tie-ups, etc. So awareness is increasing, and therefore people should, get more and more comfortable. Also you'll be aware that, the insurance industry for the first time has come together now and have started a campaign. It's again stopped for, some time now. It will start again. So as mutual funds did a very big campaign on mutual fund Sahi Hai.
Sahi hai, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the mutual funds came together, pooled in money, and they ran this campaign for more than 3 years now. Insurance is just starting. So we've just started, insurance companies have come together now, they pooled in money, and we are starting a campaign around insurance Jaruri Hai.
Yes.
So, I believe, as I said, this is a product which people need. As awareness increase, people will buy.
Sure. And my last question towards addressing to all the youngsters, typically in terms of looking at the job opportunity which this sector can create, because this has been really untapped sector, and what as a advisor also, and we also heard a lot of analysts, they say that insurance is one sector which will grow, which has current the market cap is very, very low, and it has a huge potential in terms of the growth and in terms of creating a lot of job opportunities across both direct, indirect. So what would be your message to all the youngsters at this point of time, that they should be inclined and look to this industry as a sunrise industry, and in next 10 years they can build a very, very strong and solid career into this sector?
No, I absolutely, Saurav, I think you're absolutely right, and this is one industry which can provide you both options. You want to work as an employee or you want to work as an independent advisor. It gives you both flexibilities, and you can be an entrepreneur. You can have your own agency, and thrive. And I can tell you there are many who are now very, very big, run very big agencies, workforce, etc., etc. And we are partners with a lot of them. On the other hand, you become a employee and keep growing up the ranks. This is one industry which is which allows you to there are a lot of agents which we hired some time back who are now sales managers, channel heads, etc. Some have even gone abroad. For example, MetLife, PNB MetLife, we have an advantage. So we will give you an opportunity not only within India, but we can give you an opportunity in maybe 40 other countries across the MetLife worlds. I mean, I was part of MetLife Dubai for some time, and I came back. And there are many in my organization. In fact, my last HR head was somebody from MetLife New York. He was here for around 2 years. He went back. So opportunities, career, I think this industry can provide, some of the best opportunities.
Great, sir. And thank you for those lovely insights, because typically, students, they have some kind of reservation. I think, your talk and the way you have communicated the entire growth prospect will enlighten them in terms of, looking into insurance as an industry to build up their prospective career. And with that, I would just like Ashish, to just take it over, and whatever last mile idiot questions you have, so you can just roll it out to Ashish, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for asking those questions. Most of the people who were there on the call or on YouTube, their eyes would have lit up after hearing so much of opportunities in the insurance sector. And most of them would be flocking now. I think the HR will get a lot of CVs of PNB MetLife as soon as this, people have seen vacancies. My last question before I move to the idiot questions, Ashish sir, is that, there's also a mix of questions. I am, summing up a question asking, what are the challenges in PNB MetLife which keeps you awake now? I don't want you to be awake, but still, as a metaphor, I am using that.
So the good thing is they keep changing. So that's comforting in some sense, that there are no lingering issues which keep me awake. And this is what I tell my board, that the good thing is in terms of governance issues, I sleep well. So as I said, there are no issues which are so there are issues which keep coming up. Sometimes there are people issues, sometimes there are customer issues, sometimes there are distributor issues, sometimes there are regulatory issues, and sometimes there are partnership issues. So there are various issues which will keep coming up, but that's where I'm there. My management team is there, as I said, the good thing is they keep changing. If there was one issue which was there for the last few years and we've not been able to solve it, then we have a big problem. But as challenges come, we handle it. And the good thing is, we have a very agile, adaptive team. They work together very well, and that's what solves most of the problems.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that brings to the end of this technical, and while we move on to the last 5 minutes of our idiot question, we are so thankful. This is one of the sessions where honestly we did not feel the time has passed away. I just looked at the clock and realized 1 hour is over. And it was so seamless. Most importantly, one credible, I want to congratulate the entire PNP MetLife team. One thing, while I started interacting right from sending out the mail to you for the request, to Shilpi, to my research, to meet other employees, one thing came back and is that the culture and the bond in the organization which binds everybody together, and the humility. Each of employee whom I interacted came back and spoke with humility. So that gives me such a sense of satisfaction as an organization that this kind of behavioral and cultural aspects are embedded and inculcated in the entire organization. We must have heard about Tata Group. I have worked with Tata Group myself, so I always say highly about it. But honestly, this is very, very inspiring for as part of PNP MetLife to have this kind of skeleton and of the culture. Moving to the idiot question, these questions are named idiot, as I told you, because it does not have much of significance, but we want to know our leader better and we want to know the Ashish Kumar Srivastava better tomorrow. So one is, how do you self-motivate?
So I go and play badminton.
Yeah, so I also want to tell my viewers, I'm taking this. Yeah, so I also want to tell my viewers and the participants and everybody that PNP MetLife has been one of highly accredited employees on employee engagement. They have organized a marathon, they organized a junior badminton championship, and also very importantly, that engagement is looked as a part of passion in the organization. Correct me, sir, if I'm wrong. This is what I have.
So PV Sindhu is our brand ambassador. And it's not because I love badminton that she's the brand ambassador, but I'm very happy that she is, because because I think she works very well with our brand. The kind of social work that she does with women, we also do, and that's one good thing. The second is our junior badminton championship. Now that is the largest badminton championship across the world. Next time we're going to file for Guinness Book of World Records. Last year, around 10,000, Shilpi, just correct me if I'm wrong, around 10,000 people, students participated across 10 cities. So it's a big event, and I'm very happy that we support it.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's really incredible. What is your favorite food?
So this is one area where I'm a little weak.
Okay.
So I eat whatever I'm given. But I would prefer sort of healthy food. So that's my thing. So yeah.
I am absolutely, I don't know what's the connection with all the CEOs. I have been interviewing the 9 CEO in last 3 months. And all of them have came back and said, health is a priority, or we like pasta. I don't know what's the connection, but I have to mention, everybody comes back and say we love healthy food and we love pasta. So every food we understand. I understand why, because you all are responsible for all of us, so employees in your organization, you have to be healthy. So who helps in a career, a good boss or a terrible boss?
Sorry, I didn't.
Who helps in a career, a good boss or a terrible boss?
I think both.
Okay.
A good boss definitely motivates you, and encourages you to do more. A terrible boss provides you learning. So I think there is some good in both. You should look at the positive side of it.
What is one piece of advice would you give to sales professionals, aspiring sales professionals? Since we do not really at point of time, we always talk about HR hogs all the limelight, HR conclaves, HR summits. And so there was one kind of forum where the HR, sales people was voicing out. So HR steps up and says the next appointment letter will be given by the HR of the next company which you apply. But not taking away the credit of the sales people. What one advice would you give the young sales professionals who are aspiring to become?
Honestly, I think I'll talk about young professionals, irrespective of profession. Whether it's sales, HR, finance, operations, or whatever. I strongly believe in these. So, and I will go back to my some of my earlier what I said earlier. One, take charge of your career. Whose career is it? Yours. So you should take charge. Yeah. So take charge of your career. You decide what you want to do, and then work with your manager to achieve it. Second, be open to feedback. Always take feedback. Have a mentor. Go to somebody. Ask for help. And third, keep learning. Keep learning. I absolutely say this, and to everybody, whether he's the CEO of a company or somebody who's starting a career. Don't come and tell me, sir, I work very hard. For the last 5 years, I've been working and I really gave 110%. And I've learned a lot. Absolutely. But what is the difference, with the, 100,000 others who are standing outside, who are going to say the same thing, saying, I've got 6 years of experience and we've also worked equally hard. Tell me, what have you done differently? What have you learned apart from learning on the job? And that's a question you should ask. So, as I said, career, take charge of your career, take feedback, keep learning.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's very important for all. I also resonate the same thing, saying all my employees who come from a very entry level, ki pet aur dimag ka bhuk hamesha bani rehni chahiye. And if that hunger in brain and stomach is always there. Last question of this series, and want to disclose Mr. Ashish Kumar Srivastava, knowing is the moment or the juncture is the same. Will you continue or you plan to become an entrepreneur?
So, okay, in my, whatever I wrote a few years back, this is also there. So what do I do next? So I want to teach, but I might also teach in a college that I own. So, it's a mix. So I have some entrepreneurship, some streak in me. I have invested in a few companies, separately. So at some point in time, I will start looking at them more carefully. But as I said, with all the experience that I've gained, as HR and as business head, as CEO of a company, I would like to give back to the society a bit more. So I will go back and teach.
Thank you, sir. I think it's a great privilege to have you on the session, and whatever candid discussion you would have done, I hope you enjoyed it. We thoroughly enjoyed and learned from it. It's very important, as we started with the session, that everybody's journey is so separate. And in this an hour of a session, we wanted to unfold your journey, because you never know that journey becomes an inspiration and a path-breaking road for anybody else. And as you correctly ended on the same note where we started, that if we can impact lives, HR Sampark and Suspense, thank you a lot. Personally, today we figured out another roadmap, and after this session, I will rethink. I can become a business leader as well. And that's my takeaway as an HR. Very importantly, I will request Saurabh, please unmute Shilpi, because we'll have a mixed views as well. Also, importantly, the other, the people who were there on the call while they were asking questions. One important thing, while I was doing it, writing personal comments to me, that why, and I asked this question, I don't know what the answer of this question, either I seek an answer for this question, is that PNB is close to a model employer, and that is the reason I asked that. Maybe the skeleton of that organization is so strong that employees voice out wherever they go. And the entire credit goes to you and the entire PNB MetLife team. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, Shilpi. It's an absolute honor to have you here in our SAT series. और जैसे बोलते हैं कि 4 चांद लग गए हमारे इस मेहमान नवाजी, हम लोग कर पाए कि नहीं पता नहीं, बट 4 चांद लग गए इस entire evening. But Shilpi and sir, if you want to have some voice, if you liked it, anything that you want to us to enjoy, I like taking feedback. So
So honestly, Ashish, I think I'm privileged to be here, to be talking to you, to Saurabh and everybody else who's there on the call. So this is about sharing my experiences. I'm sure I can learn from your experiences. I'm sure I can learn from Saurabh's experiences, or there are others on the call. You learn every day, and I can tell you I learn every day. So it's about assimilating these experiences and talking about it. Today I'm talking about it. Tomorrow you will be talking about it. So honestly, really, really privileged to be part of this.
Thank you so much, sir. Last time a CEO offered us, say that anytime the people who are on the call can come back and have a cup of coffee or tea when they are in the town. I don't know whether we will have that, coffee with Mr. Ashish Kumar Srivastava, but when we are in Gurgaon next time we have a chapter, we'll love to have you in person, and hopefully that social restrictions will not be there. And a great thank you, and thank you for giving your valuable time. Thank you, Shilpi, for everything.
Thank you,
so
Ashish.
much. Thank you so much. Would you like to express thank you so much? The Bengali will come out, so I'll speak less.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
Shilpi.